When this guy came back from his break, he expected to jump right out of the pan and into the fire, as it often feels when it comes to working in the kitchen, but he was perplexed by a rare sight, a totally empty kitchen area. He sensed something wasn't quite right, because while he couldn't see anyone, he could feel the sickly burning sensation in the back of your neck and head that you only feel when you know someone or something is watching you. Assuming the worst, he pulled out his phone to record as he ran for the nearest exit, but what he ended up catching was not a maniac in a mask or a knife, nor was it a homeless person looking for shelter, or even an animal who had stumbled in by chance. No, he caught something so mind-bogglingly terrifying that all he could do was watch while he quivered.
Oh. Giờ mình mà tiền này là chỉ mà tiền lại kia quá. Em nhớ ơi. Ở là mình lâu nữa quá. Sao đấy? Tiền. Mà chú. Giờ ba. Mình ở là mình lâu quá mình của phía trên này kiểu. Ngồi qua lâu mà. Alo ơi. Ô. Giờ ba cô đi cho đây, giờ ba đi ra không sao, giờ ba cô alo mà chọn đi ba là. Ba lẽ ba là cô gì mà cô gì cái làอยู่tao là đồ sao. Cho biết thế này ba là cô biết mà nói ba là. Nói bên này ba. Ô. Ê. Wow. Ô. Đi ra bao. Kìa. Wow. Giờ nó mình này giờ đó đi nhà mà.
Talk about skeleton stuff. The ladle is being moved around the bowl as though someone is stirring. While this is possible to fake using string, it would be pretty difficult to make it go around in such a smooth circle, right? There's also nowhere for anyone to hide really. For the pots to be moved with strings, which seems to be the most obvious conclusion to draw, people would have to be situated above the kitchen. So where are they? Strapped to the ceiling? Most likely not. So what the hell is going on?
Oh!
This little girl was reaching for that much needed cup of mid-play juice, but she didn't even get time to enjoy it before she realized that playtime was only just starting. As we know, getting kids to cooperate with you well enough to make a convincing video, in general, is difficult, let alone getting them to pretend they're really scared, even the snowflakes who are already scared of their own shadow. You could say that it was one of her parents pulling a harsh prank, but think about it. She was stood directly in front of a sharp corner, and when she was dragged backwards, there was no regard for her head. If it were her parents, surely they would be more careful with how they handled her. So what was it that grabbed that poor girl?
You've almost definitely had one of those days at work where everything is stressing you out, the workload is up to your eyeballs, and you didn't get enough sleep to tackle either of those tasks. That's what happened to this office worker, so they decided to take advantage of the enclosed nature of their office cubicle to rest their eyes for a few hours. But someone, or something, had other ideas. Only the most evil kind of spirit would push a work phone right under a sleeping person's nose. The hard fall out of the chair means that this video is either real, a prank done by other workers, or this person is really committed to the bit. Because you wouldn't throw yourself onto the floor that hard unless there was a reason, right? Could it be the spirit of some busybody manager? Or is the vibration setting way too high on that phone and it somehow made its way right under this person's nose? Whatever it was, it's not the most ideal wake-up call.
When these guys trotted into an old abandoned house to film a scary video, they expected to hear some creaks, maybe see a few shadows out of the corners of their eyes, but nothing crazy. When they first set foot inside the house and felt the complete twisted absence of any peace or happiness, that's when they realised they had probably bitten off more than they could chew. The first piece of the puzzle were things left behind in the seemingly desolate house.
गोबर है ना यार, ये एक मिनट शाम में ये दिखाइएगा, ये पाँव के नीचे ये देखें गोबर, ये जिन्नात की ग़िज़ा है। यार मैंने साफ देखा, चांद भाई तो मैंने साफ देखा यार यहाँ। अल्लाह अकबर।
मैं आपको बोला नजर आई थी यहाँ से भागते
अल्लाह अकबर। ये तो जैसे बहुत सारे परिंदे जो हैं जी वो इधर। अल्लाह अकबर। आवाज़ आ रही है। ये जहाँ की चीज़ मुझे समझ नहीं आई, कुछ ताबीज़ पड़े हैं क्या है, कुछ कपड़े पड़े हैं यहाँ पर। ये मुझे तो ऐसे ही लग रहा है देखने जैसे उनके अंदर कोई ताबीज़ वगैरह बांधे हों। और यहाँ पर उनका बताना ये भी है जी कि कुछ आग जलते हुए भी यहाँ पर देखी है उन्होंने। यहाँ से ये दिखाइएगा जी, ऊपर से मुकम्मल बंद है। वहाँ पर भी जालियाँ हैं, इधर भी जालियाँ लगी हुई हैं, ये दरवाज़ा है इधर।
The cow dung and the big pile of feathers suggest that people have been bringing animals into the house, and the books and clothes suggest someone has been living there. It's all very unsettling. Why is there a pile of basically dead birds, the excrement of a cow, and some tattered stuff lying in a tiny compartment that looks like someone tried to set it on fire? There might have been some sort of ritual conducted in that very house. The guys seem to notice that something is trying to trap them as they begin to ask questions. And this happened.
यार ये देखें तो सही था क्या हाल है। और यहाँ पर आपने बदबू चेक की, कितनी है बदबू? ओए चल ओए। अल्लाह अकबर।
ये क्या हो रहा है?
अल्लाह अकबर। ओ यार ये तो ताबीज़ नहीं थे जान भाई जो मैंने आपको बताया है।
ताबीज़ वगैरह है ना, वो बिल्कुल आंखों के सामने यार, एकदम से वहाँ पे आग जलती, उनका कहना सही था।
अल्लाह अकबर।
ये क्या है यार, ये क्या है?
So, something caught on fire, right in the creepy shrine-like segment of the house, while the guys tried to ask any potential spirit questions. Sounds occult as all hell, and then, just as quickly as it started, the fire goes out completely.
इधर वो एकदम से आग भड़की है यार।
परिंदों की बात कर रहा था मैं।
कमल ताबीज़ जो थे वो जल गए हैं।
They spend a bit longer wandering around and jumping at any bumps or bangs. But just as it begins to encroach on the witching hour, the biggest paranormal punch in the face comes out of nowhere for them both.
इसकी जो है ना जी वो कैफियत हो रही है इस जगह।
फिर से बंद हो
क्या हुआ क्या है? इस जगह से बाहर चल गया।
Did you see that? Just like an invisible force held him up, way higher than he can even jump. Of course, after this insane levitation experience, they ran out of the building, where he explained that he felt something jump on top of him and begin to grasp at his throat. From the strange object strewn about the lone flame, and then the attempted possession, this definitely seems like something occult is lurking inside the house, trying to trap and possess anyone who enters. The guys felt a bit more on edge than normal after that, so decided to set up a camera in the same room and leave it there for a bit, but their final piece of footage made their blood run cold. It's like it's almost toying with us, letting everyone know that it knows we're watching.
Imagine packing your luggage, ready to explore the most beautiful places in the world, and probably checking some things off your bucket list by visiting all your dream locations, only to decide to see the most secluded areas alone at stupid o'clock. Well, that's the deal of the lady you're about to watch. This is one of those days when she explored Japan after midnight, all by herself.
Y la leí completa y al final decía eso, sí, de que se te va a aparecer. Personalmente jamás se me apareció, amigos, entonces tampoco creo como mucho en eso. Amigos, estaba en este callejón y vi como alguien asomarse de la ventana y me sacó un pedote. O sea, pudo haber sido una persona real, obvio, pero no sé, qué casualidad que justo cuando estoy hablando de esto aparece ahí alguien. No lo sé, amigos, ya estoy viendo cosas. Pero bueno, el punto es que pues esta es la historia de este espíritu, que de por cierto aquí se les llaman yokai, específicamente a los que te quieren hacer daño, digamos, a los espíritus malignos.
After spending a couple of weeks in Japan, this YouTuber, not Zara, thought it was wise to talk about the various Japanese urban legends, questioning if they held water as she walked through the streets, alone. It starts off pretty well, until she gets this feeling that someone is watching her from a window. From there, her senses heightened, and things got pretty intense, fast.
Esta creo que no. O sea, hay unas que me suena que podría ser, pero esta se me hace como muy así de que... No lo sé, Rick, parece falso. Pero bueno, ay, hace mucho frío, amigos. Bueno, es que no es la 1 de la mañana, ¿no? También yo. También hay un... Güey, como... Acá, ¿vieron eso? Hay como una sombra atrás de mí, pero como que siento que se está acercando más rápido a mí. No.
Midway through her video, she notices this figure walking briskly towards her before mysteriously going poof. Coincidentally, she was just talking about a ghost believed to lurk the streets at night called Rokaru Kabai. So, we can understand her paranoia, and when she thought her night couldn't get spookier, this happens.
Como que la vas a poder ver así como rápido, por el rabillo del ojo, por como de reflejo, en reflejos de espejos, superficies, vaya. Oye, escuché como pasos. A ver, yo no estoy en una bañera, compadre. Yo no. Ok. Güey, no hay nadie, o sea, de que literal no. O sea, no hay nadie. Anyways, como les decía.
She hears approaching footsteps, and she turns to see who or what it is. She sees nothing. But did you notice how her hair got blown by the wind as she turned? At that moment, she was sharing the ritual rites of summoning a ghost who was believed to stalk whoever summoned it, although she claimed to have omitted some parts of the ritual, because she had inadvertently invoked this spirit on herself. Well, this is where it gets bizarre.
Repetirlo, tienes que volver a meterte a la bañera a la misma hora, hacer los mismos pasos, decir otra vez su nombre 3 veces y entonces así el fantasma va a entender qué es eso. Es una persona que está como parada bien raro y está viendo hacia acá. Güey, o sea, no se mueve, no se mueve. Güey, ¿por qué no se mueve?
She encounters something or someone dressed in an all-black bodysuit, trying to light a cigarette. However, this figure has an eerie feeling, as it doesn't move or flinch on a cold night. And when she zoomed in on the image, this person or thing seemed to have an elongated face. Did she get more than what she bargained for on this trip by meddling with the superstitions, supernatural entities of a foreign land? Or was she just being paranoid and her mind playing tricks on her? You be the judge.
This next video was sent to us by one of you guys. It came with little to no context as well, making it all the more unsettling. The footage appears to be taken from a couple's bedroom. The wife seems to have woken up from strange noises coming from the living room. Not wanting to wake her husband, for God knows why, she instead arms herself with a phone to go and see what it could have been. And what she captured was a paranormal cocktail that will leave you gasping. As she rises from the bed, she turns towards the living room and spots something ghostly right by the door before it pounces and knocks her to the ground. While the clip might come off as being too good to be true given how fully formed the apparition was, let's not be too quick to put this down as a fake video. Because what if she had encountered something sinister that night? We can't say for sure why she was attacked by a malevolent spirit. There's always a possibility that something genuinely sinister was caught on camera that day. But what do you think? Real ghost sighting? Or another great piece of spooky entertainment? Let us know in the comments.
On a night thick with darkness, a lone man steps into an abandoned home, his flashlight flickering like it might give up at any second. The place is a wreck, walls crumbling, debris everywhere. The air feels heavy, almost like the house is pressuring in on you the moment he stepped inside. There's this suffocating silence, like the whole place is holding its breath, just waiting, feeling the dread settling in. He starts to pray, his shaky voice like it's his last line of defense against whatever's hiding in those shadows.
في أحد في المكان؟
As he moves deeper into the house, the silence gets even heavier, almost crushing. He calls out, his voice echoing through the empty rooms, but there's nothing, no reply, and in a place like this, that kind of silence isn't comforting. It's a red flag that something is very, very wrong.
هنا أرعب موقع أو أرعب موقف داخل. في أحد؟ لا إله إلا الله، الله القوي وأنتم الضعفاء. بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم.
He carefully makes his way up the stairs. There's nothing visible, but you can feel it. The air around him is thick with unease. Sensing something's off, he starts praying again, like he's trying to shield himself from whatever unseen force might be lurking nearby.
الله القوي وأنتم الضعفاء.
Then, everything goes pitch black. The only light is coming from the door at the other end of the room. A faint beacon in the darkness, but as the camera zooms in, you see it, movement at the far end at 4:43. Something or someone is there. The fear is off the charts, with this unknown presence making its first chilling appearance.
وأنتم الضعفاء. الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا هو إلا بإذنه إلا بإذنه. لا إله إلا الله. ويني؟ الله القوي وأنتم الضعفاء.
Suddenly, a metal door starts shaking violently on its own, rattling in the eerie silence. Mustering up some courage, he opens it, only to find nothing. The doors, while shaking, and the emptiness behind it just add another layer to the mystery of what's really going on in this haunted place.
لا 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 أنا لا خلاص 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 أبي أطلع أنا أبي أطلع هاي تقفل علي ذا بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إخواني خواتي ربي يسعدكم أخاف يتقفل علي الباب أقسم بالله لا تقفل ما عاد ينفتح حديد هذا ربي يسعدكم استودعتكم الله الذي لا تضيع دعواتكم في حفظ الرحمن ورعايته وفي أمان الكريم.
Finally, the dude had enough. The atmosphere, the creepy happenings, it's all just too much. He makes the call to get out of there, leaving the house and whatever dark forces are lurking inside. As he steps out, you can't shake off the lingering dread, wondering what might have happened if he stuck around just a bit longer.
This guy thought he was in for an easy night, just keeping an eye on the CCTV at San Roque Cemetery. But after just a few brief minutes of chilling, something caught his eye that sent chills down his spine. Let's take a watch. It could just be a camera glitch, but why does only one figure look ghostly while the other two appear perfectly normal under the same lighting? Maybe it really is a technical issue, or maybe, just maybe, it's one of the cemetery's long lost souls wandering in front of the camera.
When this loyal family moved into their new home, they thought they were living the dream, until they realized they stepped straight into a nightmare. At first, it all seemed fine, but then the house started showing its true colors. It began innocently enough, furniture shifting slightly, doors opening by themselves, and shelves acting like they had a mind of their own. Imagine waking up and finding your favorite chair scooted a few inches closer to the TV, like it's trying to catch up on your favorite show. But those little quirks soon turned into something much darker. One day, the house went dead silent. Then came a loud noise, like the kitchen window being scraped open. The wife, feeling that something was seriously off, because, let's be real, it's never a good sign when your house starts pulling its stunts on its own, knew they had to check it out. Smartly, they brought the phone camera along. Here's what they caught on tape.
Recording, babe, what was it you saw?
I don't know, I saw something in the kitchen move. I don't know what it was, but it just seemed strange.
Yeah, but it's probably just the window's open. I thought I saw something the other night, and there's just that cross breeze from the window and the balcony.
Keep the camera open because I swear I saw.
Oh my god!
Oh, here, give me the camera. Oh my god, what the? Oh god.
Please, we just get out.
No! Let's get out of here.
Determined to get to the bottom of this chaos, they set up a camera in the spot where the weirdest stuff kept happening. For hours, nothing. The family probably started thinking, maybe the house isn't so bad after all. But just when they thought it was safe to go back to normal life, the phenomenon decided it was time for the spotlight. Watch what went down. The freaking suitcase didn't just open, it flung itself open and shut like an extra hungry Pac-Man. Whatever's going on here, one thing's for sure. Suitcases aren't supposed to move on their own like this, or are they?
Imagine this. You're in the hospital ready to go home after your late night shift, when you hear a scream out of nowhere. What's your first instinct? To pull out the camera and start recording for evidence, of course, just in case. But after a while, nothing happens, so you get out of there and go home. During a chat with your partner already in bed, that moment comes to your mind and you decide to show him the footage, only for him to point something out. Something you didn't notice, but is now sending a chill right down to your socks.
Loco, que vi a alguien pasar. ¡Ey! Váyanse de aquí, ahorita va a prender un incienso. Se les acabó el chistecito.
What the hell is that? It's not moving, but it's there, staring toward the person filming, waiting for the right moment to do whatever creepy-ass shadow dudes do. Would you go back to work the next day? No chance.
There aren't many times when the moving shape of a ghost gets caught on camera, but in this video, you're about to witness something pretty rare. This guy is out in the woods, busy with some logs, sampling and weighing them right in front of a structure that looks a bit like a bunker. Maybe he's prepping for an apocalypse. Who knows? But while he's focused on his work, there's something going on in the background. Something downright chilling. Take a look.
Сучья, но это тоже тяжеловато. Ну, как бы это затратно, нахера это делать? Поэтому вот так вот я частенько просто сшибаю, обшибаю, короче, и готовые полено получаются. Но это тоже заморочки. Вот, казалось бы...
Did you catch that? Look closely. What looks like a transparent, ghostly figure can be seen strolling through the snow, and you can even spot the snow getting kicked up. Did this guy actually catch a spirit on camera while just filming a chilling camping video, or is it something else entirely? Drop your thoughts in the comments.
When it comes to the paranormal, YouTuber The Willow Project is as skeptical as one can be. He's always believed that ghosts and all things supernatural are just cap, tales spun out of fear and paranoia. He believes there's always a logical explanation for any so-called paranormal activity. So to prove his point once and for all, he decides to visit a local antique store and buys the item with the spookiest backstory he could find, without even waiting for the owner's do's and don'ts. Feeling pretty stoked about his dope item, he sets up his camera to film the unboxing of his latest acquisition. But he made the fatal mistake of throwing away the little note left inside the box because he couldn't understand what was written there. It didn't take long for things to go south, as he claims to have been losing sleep, hearing voices through the walls, and lights flickering on and off when no one is around. His followers, mostly fellow skeptics, brushed it off as just another stunt. However, as he records himself trying to make them believe, the lights in his bathroom start going berserk, with a doorknob mysteriously moving. But the entity he brought home was just getting warmed up. A few days later, after returning home from work, he walked into the bathroom to find it completely trashed. At first he thought his roommates were pulling an elaborate prank on him, until he noticed the taps running by themselves. With no one else home at the time, he instantly knew it had to be the mummy acting up again. Then things got even creepier, as the evil began spreading throughout his house. One night, as he was trying to sleep, strange noises echoed down the hallway. When he stepped out of his room to investigate, this happened.
You guys hear that? What the hell? Hello? What? Come on. It's not turning on. What the hell, dude? I'm getting enough of this shit. Seriously. Hello? Hello?
someone or something kicked a ball toward him. And when he entered the bathroom, all the lights were mysteriously dead, while the knobs started moving on their own, all at stupid o'clock. Despite these terrifying events, his followers remained skeptical, dismissing it as a hoax and daring him to set up cameras in the bathroom to prove it wasn't all smoke and mirrors. So he did just that, setting up 2 separate cameras. But the cameras captured even more eerie moments, like the bathroom cabinet flinging open on its own, the taps running, and other inexplicable incidents. By this point, it was getting harder to discredit his claims, but the real shock was yet to come. His cameras were about to capture the most terrifying evidence yet. This clip drove the point home. There was absolutely no way he could have opened the cabinet himself, proving once and for all that something supernatural was at play. From that moment on, he came to terms with the fact that this entity had become a permanent part of his home. He even started playing what he called a game with what must have been a friendly ghost. Take a look.
Guys, this is what I've been doing for the past few days. Yo, that's so nuts, dude. Yo, I kid you not, there's like, for the 100th time, there's nobody behind there and I have 2 angles running. Look, I'll turn on the light. You see me? I'll close the door behind me. Okay. Check this out. There's nobody in here. Nobody in this room. I'm literally at the entrance. As you can see, we turn on the light. Nobody's underneath there. As you can see, turning on the light. Okay. Closing the door, closing, and remember I do have 2 angles running, as you can see. Okay, this door is closed and I'm right here. You see this? Nobody's here. Behind there, in this unit, as you can see, I'm at this corner of the room. I'm opening this door. Nobody's here. Nobody's here. Nobody's walking. Nobody's crawling. Opening, see on this angle here. I will show here, as you can see. I will show here again. Nothing, 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 nothing. Nobody's behind me, as you can see. Okay. Nobody's on this angle. You see this? I'm telling you. I'm not alone. I'm not alone. What the hell? I closed this door. What the f, man?
Among all this madness, you might have missed the doorknob moving just before the door opened on its own. From what we've gathered, this guy is a gamer on TikTok and had never posted paranormal content before taking on this strange quest. Do you think these are real paranormal activities caught on camera, and that he brought home a truly haunted piece?
move.
Let us know in the comments.
Shooting a film can be stressful business as it is, but what happens when you throw in a good paranormal punch in the face? That's what happened to Stephen Ray when he and his friends were trying to finish off recording a scene. As soon as they hear action, all hell seems to break loose. Take a look.
We're here, we're filming the last scene for this horror movie we're doing. We still haven't titled it yet. Should be coming out soon. We decided to set this camera up as a wide shot for the behind the scenes, get our whole setup. Fernand's recording handheld on
the HD10.
Yeah, and we have the iPhone 4 up here filming another angle. So let's just get started. Show you guys how we do it.
HD10 and on and recording. Audio.
Alright, raw audio.
Audio recording.
Alright, ready and action. Wait, cut. Who's upstairs?
No one.
I just saw somebody.
I'll check it out.
I thought we were the only ones here.
We are.
Steven, are you seeing things?
There's no one else here.
Maybe it's just smart here. Alright, let's go ahead and reset.
He thinks he sees someone. He goes to have a look, realizes it's nothing, and goes back to business. That's standard, except it's never that simple, is it?
Alright. Ready, set.
What the heck was that?
Did you knock over the picture?
No, I just saw it fall down. Is the nail loose or something?
Everything seems fine. Alright, hold on, let me check out the lights.
The second take goes to pot as well, but they all seem to think it had to be a big prank. But when they go in for a third take, they realise that this is no joke.
Alright, hold on, let me check out the lights. I don't know, I think it might just be a short on it. Electrical. Yeah, I think it's just a short!
What the? Hey, who's out there?
Looks like something else wanted their 15 minutes of fame too. What could have used all three of them like floor mops so easily? Something sinister that we want nothing to do with.
Endlessly proud of some new light fixtures on his car, this guy whipped out his phone and started showing them off. When commenters started asking for some more details on the lights, he was more than happy to oblige. One such request was to see how the lights performed in complete darkness, so he got himself in the car, drove out to a secluded place in the woods to show everybody how they perform without any artificial light nearby. He got ready for the big reveal, but ended up catching something much more sinister.
The lights are definitely functional, but unfortunately I live in a city and there are street lights everywhere. But I can find a place to go test them. Okay, I found some really dark woods. I just put some tinfoil over the reverse lights, so I'm going to show you what the stock reverse lights look like, and then I'm going to uncover them and show you what the added reverse lights look like. These are the stock reverse lights.
Literally can't see anything.
And these are the ones I just installed. Look how friggin' bright that is. This is amazing. Yeah, so these are not just for looks.
who or what the hell had its arm wrapped around that tree? The real question here is, which one would you rather stumble upon? A real person ominously lurking behind a tree, or some kind of paranormal entity? Both seem like run-ins we'd much rather avoid.
A pair of paranormal investigators get on what might be the deadliest attempt at ghost chasing when they find themselves in the middle of poltergeist rush hour. Every single move, breath, and touch they make seems to anger the spirits so much that they threaten to harm them. Grab some popcorn. This is about to get real and fast. It all starts when they decide to explore an abandoned facility which is said to have been haunted by several angered spirits, who have even one of the past employees in one of its many unfurnished rooms. The pair arrives at the location late at night, and the chills are already creeping in like a nightmare on steroids. They set up cameras and other devices used to detect spirits, but when one of the pair starts reciting his holy verse, all hell breaks loose.
शाहिद हर तरफ ऐसे हो गया जैसे तूफान आ गया हो। यार शाहिद शाहिद यार।
While the pair moves around the building, the camera pans to a room down the hall where from above, a shadowy figure is shown watching the man who screams upon seeing her. The figure with long human black hair stalks into the space above with her hair being pulled above. What makes this even much scarier is that the man quickly recovers after the fright and runs to investigate the room the figure was in, but no one is there.
उस साइड से आवाज आ रही आवाज बाहर से ये क्या है? बाहर से आवाज आ रही है।
क्या हुआ खुरम?
शाहिद ये पेड़ से आके गिरा यहाँ ऊपर।
While one of the blokes walks past an empty room into another, an oddly strange shaped figure materializes out of thin air. Its color dark, dusty and grey as it jumps like a kangaroo into the other room and disappears out of sight before it even touches the ground. Of course, only the static camera catches this. The pair misses it, but that probably is for the best.
Oh, खुरम ये फिर मुझे ऐसे लगा इधर कोई था। ओह अकबर।
शायद इधर से कुछ या तो वो चमगादड़ गई है दोबारा
मैंने वही ना बोला ये देखो अल्लाह अकबर अल्लाह अकबर तुम क्या ख्याल है
उस साइड से आवाज आ रही आवाज बाहर से ये क्या है बाहर से आवाज आ रही है
क्या हुआ खुरम
शाहिद ये पेड़ से आके गिरा यहाँ
Towards the end of the video, the man making the prayers exclaims that the prayers have been heard, but now the spirits are getting physical. Here he claims he has been pushed very hard by an unseen force. Next we know, he talks about how his feet have been stepped on. But it gets worse, soon. The man is getting attacked at multiple places and he is in pain. This is when his partner realizes they need to get out, and get out now. There's just no way this isn't true, and there's also just no way this profession is healthy for the mental state.
क्या हुआ
यार पूरे में एकदम से आग लग गई है
अल्लाह अकबर उठाओ यार
अल्लाह अकबर क्या हुआ खुरम
बड़ी जोर से लगा यहाँ पे यार ये दूसरी दफ़ा हुआ है पर पहले मुझे पत्थर लगा था और अब ये लगा है
अल्लाह अकबर अल्लाह अकबर
Shahid.
Either way, these dudes must have them heavy in their pants to be going into a space like this with ghosts on Sugar Rush.
ये मोशन सेंसर उठा रहा है इधर से मैंने कुछ चीज़ आते देखी मोशन सेंसर
उठा लिया यार
उठा लिया ये देखो
This woman was just trying to get on with her shift, and after getting back from some errands, the paperwork she had back at the office was calling her name. She already felt as though something was a little off, because the normally bustling shop and office environments were dead still, with nobody else to be seen, bar the cat. But regardless, she attempted to get on with her work, until all hell began to break loose. Take a look. She decided that she wasn't getting paid enough to deal with that, so stepped outside to call the manager and tell them about the issue, but they seemed to be in complete denial. telling the woman that it was probably just rats. Unless rats have figured out the power of invisibility, that can't be right. After some back and forth, the woman seemed to make up her mind, go back inside the shop, get her stuff, and get herself the hell out of there. But nothing ever goes that smoothly, does it? Because this poltergeist decided it was time to really get her involved. The footage isn't quite clear enough to make out exactly what spooked her, but you can hear some sort of commotion and see an orb-like object flying towards her as she screams. The video cuts out after that, so we can only theorize about what happened to the woman. Was this a sloppy poltergeist attempt at possession? Did the woman even end up getting back out of the door? What do you think? Let us know in the comments.
Moving into a new place can be a big nightmare for a lot of people, especially for Carlos, because his next door neighbours are all dead, quite literally. Instead of moving into a suburban neighbourhood full of trees and white picket fences, he opted for soft worn earth and old stone monuments. If you haven't guessed it already, he lives in amongst those in their final resting place.
Mi gente, miren ahí, miren lo que acabo de captar, miren, ahí, ¿vieron lo que salió de ahí? Miren, esos son, wow. Mi gente, miren, se están comiendo. Oh, Señor. Que si me le acerco más, puede ser que se vayan. Miren, se metieron para la tumba. Ahí. Miren. ¿Lo ven?
You guessed it. He lives in a cemetery. Naturally, this real-life horror movie title comes with a full plot, because there was always something that looked like it had crawled out of a seventh circle of hell, milling around.
Gente, miren, siento gente aquí. Ok. Miren, ahí hay gente. Dándole mantenimiento a la tumba, para que ustedes vean. Yo me siento bien cuando andan limpiando esto acá. Mi amor, ¿tú crees que tú te atreverías a venir hoy a acostarnos ahí, donde yo me acuesto, en la noche, a ver película? Huevo, brother. Bien. Sí, esos son los que trabajan aquí. Están dándole mantenimiento. Hermano. Bien, bien, vecinos.
Like it's just another Tuesday. So, if you literally live in a cemetery and things like this start happening.
Mi gente, miren. Me encuentro en mi casa. Miren. Miren que no hay absolutamente nada. Y me encuentro como medio raro. No sé qué es lo que está pasando. Pero en verdad, no sé qué es lo que está pasando, mi gente, en mi casa hoy. Miren, señores, miren. Me siento como que no sé, como que hay algo raro en mi habitación hoy. Por favor, necesito que me ayuden hoy, sí. Hoy siento esto, miren, estoy solo en mi casa. Miren, estoy solo en mi casa, por Dios. Y siento como que se mueven todas las cosas. Oh, Dios mío, se apagó la luz.
You might as well get the place blessed. After all, it's not like you would have much to lose in that situation. Although ironically, this is precisely where it all started getting 10 times worse. Christian Blay travelled to the Dominican Republic to meet Carlos, and see what magic he could work to communicate with the spirits roaming around the home. And boy, did he get way more than he bargained for.
En el nombre del Padre, del Hijo, del Espíritu Santi. Amén. ¿Y qué fue? ¿Tú viste? Mi gente, no me he empezado el en vivo.
Whatever it was that was lingering in Carlos's house barely even let a prayer begin before letting all hell break loose. While you could argue that a lot of poltergeist activity could have been carefully crafted by the film crew, but the guy lives in a goddamn graveyard, it's safe to say there might be something a little creepy going on. After establishing that Carlos's house was teeming with activity, they all decided to go outside into the cemetery and see what awaited them there. Oh, you didn't think I meant literally waiting for them? Well, check out what they caught almost the second they put their feet to the ground.
Miren eso que está encaramado allá arriba, manito. ¿Qué es esa vaina? ¿Lo ven? ¿Qué es eso? Carlos, pero... No, Carlos, yo creo que es una gente. ¿Eh? Tú estás relajando. ¿Gente? Ven, préstame, ven, déjame enfocar eso. Pásame para acá. Tú tienes una gente, Carlos, ¿cómo va a ser?
If you think that this is a prop of some kind, you can see the legs moving slightly as the camera pans away, and after a bit more trapezing through the tombstones, they saw this.
Esto está tenebrosísimo. Dale taqui, vamos a compartir esto. Vamos a compartirlo, mi gente. Todo el mundo para Facebook, compartiendo para Facebook. Ahí cuando usted le da a compartir, le sale la opción para usted compartirlo en su Facebook. Vamos a compartirlo en Facebook. Todo el mundo. Eso es totalmente gratis. Con eso usted no está apoyando. Imagínense. Miren. Mira. ¿Se gastó? Venga. Yo lo voy acá atrás, yo no sé. La sangre de Cristo tiene poder. La sangre de Cristo tiene poder. En nombre de Jesucristo, mi gente, están protegidos. Déjame decirle algo. Ven, dale para acá, pégate de mí. Que Carlos tiene un chin de valor. ¿Ustedes recuerdan que yo me clavé casi un clavo o una varilla?
So this can only be one terrifying truth out of two. Either someone or something is watching them roam around through the graveyard, and somehow both are equally as horrific as the other. The longer you watch this video, the more you realize that this living nightmare sprawls for miles, because the crew started walking across roads and the turmoil appears to stretch for miles.
Desde Moca, aquí a Pantoja. Señores, pero ahorita con nosotros no venía un muchacho con nosotros. ¿Y los dos que venían con nosotros? ¿Dónde están ellos? Ellos se mandaban para mí que fue. Cuando yo vi que estábamos, yo y este chamaquito, dice, no, detrás de cámara, dice esto con algo, como que se iba. Pero allá, allá. Y esta, espera. Son aquellos que están allá, ven a ver. Había uno con suéter blanco. Había uno con suéter blanco, ¿verdad? ¿Dónde están ellos? Yo lo vi como en esa esquina. ¿Aquí? Ahí en esa esquina para allá. Yo vi un suéter blanco ahí, sí. Ahora mismo. Cuidado. Mira.
They are then drawn to a specific tomb, and for some god-forsaken reason, they thought it would be a brilliant idea to get it open and shove a camera down there.
Pero Marín, tú estás asustado, agárralo tú también. El diale. Es un sótano, mi gente. Ah, que es un sótano. Para enterrar muertos, mi gente. Miren, bóveda ahí, miren. Es un sótano. ¿A los cuántos likes ustedes van para meternos ahí? Yo me tiro, si ustedes me dicen que me tire. Vamos a meternos. ¿Tú? Claro que sí, yo me tiro.
Yo me meto. ¿Y cómo te vas a salir?
Mira. Mira, esos son tumbas, eso es un túnel que hay ahí con pila de tumbas. ¿Y cuándo no se mete por aquí? Ahí, mira. Mira cómo anda ahí la cacata gigante, mira. Mira la cacata gigante que hay.
No, porque la entrada...
Nos tiramos, mi gente, nos tiramos por aquí, si ustedes me dicen. Vayan compartiendo, vamos a inventar.
Probably thinking that it wouldn't make things any worse. They had a look down there, and while it got their adrenaline pumping, they didn't see anything lurking below. That might be because it was lurking nearby instead. As they all started trying to retrace some steps, they got the chilling sense that something had followed them, which is when they turned around and saw this.
Nada de lo que venga de aquí quiero yo. Vamos a ver, estos tigres inventan. A comer mango vinieron ellos al cementerio, mire mi gente.
Ya se lo comiendo.
Se lo comiendo.
No chancean aquí.
Para tentar coro, déjame ver cuánto yo tengo de carga. Ah, no, tengo un 26 de carga, mi gente. Entre más me gusta le den y más compartan el video, yo voy a durar más tiempo aquí. Así que denle compartan y denle me gusta. Carlos, ¿qué tú nos recomiendas?
Oye, vámonos de aquí.
Pero no se separen, no me dejen solo. Espérate. Pero ¿qué? ¿Y para dónde que van? Pero que se desorientan toditos. Péguense, ven, manín, ven, pégate, ven. Ven. Ay.
Tómate el pasillo, no, yo me voy ya.
Ven para acá, pégate para acá, ven. Pégate, ven. No se despegue, pues estos tigres.
No podemos separar. Eso nos está cayendo atrás. No podemos separar. Eso nos está cayendo atrás desde que salimos de la casa. Pero eso yo nunca lo había visto.
No nos separemos ya, qué susto me di yo. Cuando yo me quedé solo con esta cámara, yo me di susto.
Desde que vino Cristian. Este hombre como que estaba desgojado, desde que este hombre vino, comenzó. Se siente como más el pánico.
Mira, adentro de la toma.
¡Está loco, compadre!
¡Ay! ¡Mira, ahí te cae! ¡Espérame!
And it doesn't end there. It was a 2-for-1 on light and dark at the demon store apparently.
¿Y esta luz? Espérate. Quita el foco, yo no tengo foco puesto. ¿Y esta luz? Ay, espérate. No. Mira. Por ahí una buena blanca, ¿dónde está? Mira.
Mira cómo se agacha, mira.
Mira. ¿Qué es eso?
Se ve. Mira. Ay, chulo.
No. ¡Ay! ¡Me la vaina ahí! Allá atrás. Mira, está por ahí.
No me pares.
¡Ay!
While the whole blessing thing went out the window quite early on, these guys didn't get to feel like the Scooby Gang whilst getting a hell of a lot of steps in. The spookiest thing about this clip is also the fact that it was originally a live video, meaning for the activity to be faked, it would have had to have been planned meticulously. Would they go to all that effort for a fake ghost video? Especially considering Carlos already lives in the infamous house and has existing notoriety from his creepy home videos. So what could have been following them through the seamlessly endless cemetery?
Se ve. Mira. Ay, chulo.
No.
Having to deal with ghosts and malevolent spirits on land is enough to make anybody reach for a pair of spare pants. But it's a whole other level of spookiness when paranormal activities happen in water. A public pool this time specifically. This government-built public pool is in the community centre of the town to encourage more participation in swimming. And it didn't take long for parents to bring their kids down to the amazing facility with the hopes of training up the next Olympic star. However, that thrill and excitement turned into sheer horror and paranoia as the kids began dreading the very thought of the pool, as they claimed to be able to see pale, ghostly faces staring at them from beneath the water, only to vanish the moment they raised their heads. Also, the locker rooms and shower area were apparently brimming with the sounds of disembodied voices and children running around and laughing. and yet there was nobody there. While the reasons behind the hauntings remain foggy, the kids say that they knew what they saw, and before long the pool was closed down following the many terrifying reports. Yet it is believed that the evil still lurked in the shadows of the facility, with hair-raising sights and chilling temperatures becoming the new norm. YouTuber Exploración al Límite con Paco Medrano geared up to explore this abandoned pool with plans of capturing something on camera. But let's just say that things didn't exactly go according to plan.
No, pero allá afuera, ¿dónde está el vehículo? Se escuchó algo fuerte. ¿Se hubiera caído? Sí.
Some minutes after midnight, they began to sense an eerie presence nearby, until suddenly they heard what sounded like footsteps from a distance. Probably not wanting to give in to their fears, they convinced themselves it must have been some kind of noise from outside, so they decided to shut the door behind them to block it out. But boy, did that turn out to be a big, big mistake. Take a look.
¿Qué es eso? En el techo. Eso no es del aire.
Guíanos a donde estás.
No, 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 no. ¿La trabaste?
¿Viste que la había dejado cerrada?
¿La trabaste?
As they turned to continue investigating, someone or something mysteriously cracks the door open, leaving them in utter disbelief. They knew there was absolutely no way it could have been done by a person, as the place is completely isolated. And who in their right mind would turn up to such a place at that ungodly an hour, aside from them? Did you also notice how his skin was covered in goose pimples like a Thanksgiving turkey? We can also see how firmly he closed the door, and there still appeared to be a force that was strong enough to open it. Well, it wouldn't be out of place to assume that the door was opened by a really strong wind. We thought that too, until we saw what one of their eagle-eyed viewers spotted right after the door opened.
No manches. Algo se movió allá. Alumbra. Alumbra. Alumbra, alumbra, alumbra. Alumbra. Yo vi que algo corrió. ¿Ya viste? ¿Qué es eso? Abajo. Entre la puerta. A ver, cierra eso. Vamos a cerrar eso.
What looks to be a pure black shadow person seems to be watching them from the darkness, but when the camera pans in that direction again, it's gone. They never noticed the figure until after they'd uploaded the video to their channel. And putting all of these events together, commenters believe that the pool is still a paranormal hotspot and home to the true terror that haunts the dreams of the people who've been there. But what's your take on this one? Real paranormal activity? Or did we miss something? Let us know.
While working a night shift alone, this security guard started hearing strange noises in the reception area. Knowing that the things she was seeing and hearing would be hard to explain to her colleagues the following day, she decided to whip out her phone and record what she saw. Here's what was caught.
Esto lo voy a dejar registrado porque son 16 de diciembre, 11 de la noche. Bueno, mira, esta wea está pasando hace mucho rato y yo acá estoy sola, weón. No hay nadie.
Who or what moved that wheelchair? Since when did wheelchairs have self-driving features? Or did someone push it as she panned the camera away? Jump cuts? Probably. But given the history of hospitals as paranormal hotspots, we tend to lean towards the theory that something pushed it, but don't take our word for it. Share your thoughts in the comments.
When this woman got back home after a long day, she wanted nothing more than to see her children and relax. She tiptoed as delicately as she could towards the bedroom door, ready to see her angels, when she noticed something. One word echoed around the house, one she was used to hearing, but not like that. Mama. Her mouth turned dry and bitter and her throat tightened as she listened to what was once the sweetest sound she had ever heard become unrecognizable. She shook it off and carried on towards the room, but she took out her phone camera and hit record for peace of mind when she caught this. She claims that the warbling child's voice was an entity that took the form and the voice of a young daughter. And one watch of this video shows you that there wasn't anyone inside that room. But this woman's story goes much deeper than one video, because she has been struggling with a powerful presence in her home for a long time. She claims that the activity on this scale happens every 2 to 3 days. She calls these days her days of respite, personalizing this entity as he. She believes that he must have some sort of demonic power, as he has taken the form of her children while still donning a pair of sharp horns. While resting in bed at stupid o'clock, she started hearing noises coming up from her children's room again. Unable to pull herself up from bed at first, she started recording. So, this entity definitely seems to favour the area where the children spend their time. According to some of the video descriptions, this woman has been dealing with activity much like this for far too long, and no matter how many times she tries to stay away by sending the children to their dads, getting a hotel room and staying there for as long as she can, she somehow always ends up back at home watching her furniture fly around the room. There even came a time when she felt the entity was actively laughing at her fear and she called in a priest. But no amount of holy water, prayers, or salt circles could stop whatever was tormenting this woman's life. She resorted to sleeping in the living room so she didn't have to look directly into the smaller bedroom at night, but her relocating didn't do anything to quell the paranormal activity. The whole place is a hotspot. The activity became much more physical as time went on. She was finding strange blood-like liquids in different areas of the house, but specifically the fireplace. When bloody substances leak through walls, it doesn't tend to spark very many positive thoughts, and jumping straight to demonic intervention isn't too much of a stretch in all honesty, especially considering the rest of the clips this woman has of the hellscape that she calls her home.
Hey! Hey!
You know by now that animals are famously sensitive to the paranormal, and this cat spent almost every day watching out for entities, especially after a few more priests were called in to attempt to bless the place, but that only made the atmosphere even heavier. Apparently, during the time this video was taken, alongside all of the horror you see play out there, she was plagued with the stench of rot and items being smashed and broken continuously. And to add insult to injury, this entity appeared to gain a little more confidence and began speaking to her. If you haven't spent any time brushing up on your French, the word he said translates directly to come. And the fact that the door closes on its own right afterwards is one of the most bone-chilling things we have ever seen. Soon after this, she claims to have begun suffering from blackouts while seeing shadows flit around her home. The blackouts happened while she was in the street as well as inside the four walls, so this thing latched onto her hard, and seems hell-bent on her never getting a good night's rest. A few comments pointed out the strange face-like pattern visible on the back stand near the door. Some think it's proof of a demonic entity, and others think it's proof that this is all a big steaming lie. That something so obvious immediately denoted everything else she had caught. But realistically, there's no way to know. Yeah, she could have put all this together with some time, patience, a stereo, and a lot of fishing wire. But so much, and for so long? Would someone put on a show at such a huge scale so consistently just for some social media likes? Or could this really be this woman's cry for help?